So look, can you see the screen? Are you able to see the screen?
Yes. We are doing
Oh,
the accounts business
this
month.
is it's accounting. It's Monday today.
Oh, oh. I don't have the words,
Oh, the
the timetable.
timetable. Ah,
Yes.
sorry. I'll give you. I'll give you the
Yeah, you should.
manufacturing account. Now,
Because
remember. uh
sometimes pesa kaniendekeza class na pesa no kulipe communication.
If that is that, maybe you're just waiting for it on Saturday, or these are the wrong days. But otherwise, there is always class.
Saturdays and Sundays. Ungala kulipe.
Could be a class, yeah.
Oh, I see.
Mhm. Okay, let's continue. So now, most of the conversations we have had, or the accounts that we have learned how to prepare, are for number one, sole proprietorships,
Mm-hmm.
um, sole proprietorships, and then from sole proprietorships, there is also partnerships. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
partner partnerships. So sole proprietorships and the partnerships. These are the two key accounts so far that we have learned, and we are working with. All right. So these are the forms of the businesses. Let's say so. Sole proprietorship is a form of a business which is run by only one person. It is also called sole trading. Yeah, one person is running this particular business. Partnerships, two or more people up to somewhere 20 come together, to run this particular partnership. Are we following? Oh, hello. Are you still logged in?
Yes, yes,
Are
I'm
you
here.
still? Yes. So now I was recording to us that there are three key accounts that are being prepared by these two forms of the business. I want you to pay attention so that you get the idea behind the manufacturing account. The first one is the income statement, or the statement of profit, you know, profit or loss, and the other comprehensive income. So the statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income is what you call the what? It's one of the statements that is very important. It's also called the income statement. And then you also have the statement of financial position, which is also called the balance sheet, right? That's the other name we said. Then we have got the appropriation account added, right? Appropriation account that we talked about in the previous conversations. These are the three key accounts that are prepared by sole proprietorships and the partnership, okay? And since we have already had conversations on this, I want to introduce another form of a business now that has the following departure from the two. The two, they order goods, like they purchase goods and then resell them. You understand, eh? The sole
Yes.
proprietors and the partnerships, they order goods and then sell. Order finished goods from the suppliers, the manufacturers, and then they sell those goods. Now, for manufacturing companies, these are a bit different. Instead of ordering goods that are already finished, these actually manufacture the goods. They make their own goods. And after making, when they finish making, they sell. Are you seeing the difference?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, we will not really talk about the processes of production during the manufacturing process, no. But what we just want to talk about is what we want to work on or talk about is the accounts, the accounting part of it. accounting for the cost of production. So the purpose of a manufacturing account is to do what? It is to ascertain the costs of production. Is that clear?
Yes.
That is the use of the manufacturing account. We just want to know how much it costs to produce those goods and services. It should be very important for you to understand that the same cost now, cost is divided into the following. Number one, there is what you call direct material cost, right? Direct material costs. We also have direct labor costs. This is the division. Direct labor cost or wages, right? We have direct expenses. Direct expenses. When you consolidate these, put together, you produce something that is called when you total these, they will equal to prime cost, right? You will have something called the prime cost. Is that clear?
Yes.
So prime cost is what? It is direct material cost plus direct labor cost plus the direct expenses. Put together, you have the prime cost. Is that clear?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Now, having highlighted this and talked about this, then we need to also look at what we call indirect costs. The indirect costs. What about indirect costs? You have indirect labor costs, indirect material. The same way how we have direct material, we also have indirect material costs, indirect labor costs, and indirect expenses. Is that clear?
Yes.
When you add all the indirect costs, you produce something called overhead costs. So overhead costs basically is the sum, right, of all the indirect costs. When you put the indirect costs together, what you have is what you call the overhead costs. Does that help?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So therefore, the total cost of production shall be the sum of prime costs, which are direct costs, plus the overhead costs, which are indirect costs. So when you add the direct costs plus the indirect costs, you have something called the prime the total cost, the total cost of production, right?
Mm.
So your question is, sir, you have talked about direct, indirect. What do you really mean by direct and indirect costs? Starting with the direct costs. The direct costs are those costs that you can actually trace direct to a specific product or a service. Is that clear? In short, they can be attributed to a specific what? Product or a specific service. Clear, right?
Yes.
They can be attributed to a specific product, that is a specific service as well. Those are called the overhead what? the overhead costs, the direct costs. For example, you have direct material costs and direct labor. So for direct labor, we'll place so much emphasis on that one because it's the one that usually confuses people. Direct labor is the labor that you pay, the cost that you pay when you're paying the people that are working, doing the actual work in the factory, right? The actual work during the production process. Those that produce specific product, specific goods, right?
Mm-hmm.
For example, we are, a teaching and learning institution, right? We are a teaching and learning institution. So what are we doing? If we are a teaching and learning institution, that simply means that we are supposed to, it means that if we are a teaching and learning institution, as we are supposed to teach, right? That's the main job that we are doing as a company or as an institution. So the people who are teaching, they are doing the actual work that we are supposed to be doing. So their payment is direct what? Direct wage or direct labor cost. You get it, eh? Do you get that one? Hello?
Yes, I'm getting it.
Yeah. Then those people who are supervising, for example, supervisors' wages are indirect. Why do we say they're indirect? Because they cannot be traced, to a specific product or a specific good. So it is said to be indirect labor cost. Having said
Okay.
all these things, then I need to give the format for the manufacturing account. So the format is very important. You need it now. It has two columns as usual, right? So how does it start? You start with the raw materials consumed. Raw materials, just right. Raw material consumed like that. That's the format, right? So it starts with the opening what? Opening inventory. Opening inventory of raw materials. RM for raw material. You put in the first column like that. Why did I say opening inventory of raw materials? Because you have three opening inventories, right? Three of them. There will be opening
Mm-hmm.
inventory of raw materials, opening inventory of work in progress, opening inventory of finished goods. So I'm
Okay.
emphasizing among the three, please pick the one for raw materials. And then you shall add purchases. These are purchases of raw materials because sometimes you can find purchases of the finished goods. Remember, the purchases of the finished goods go in the income statement, the profit and loss. That's what we established.
Mm-hmm.
But for the raw materials, they go in the manufacturing account. And from here, just the way how you do it in the income statement, you less returns outwards. Returns outwards is same as, purchases return. Returns outwards of raw materials again. So that is, if you order some raw materials, then you decide to take them back to your suppliers. You have to deduct that. All right? You should deduct that. You purchase some raw materials, then some of them you want to take them back. Those that you have taken back, they are called the returns outwards, and they should be deducted. From there, you can add carriage inwards. Is that clear? Carriage inwards. Carriage inwards of raw materials again. What is carriage inwards? Carriage inwards is any cost that you incur as you're trying to bring these goods into the business, right? Whatever, like these raw materials, remember you have to bring them into the business. There could be some cost that you incur as you're trying to bring the materials into the business. That cost is called carriage inwards. And from this figure, when you consolidate everything from this figure, you're going to less closing what? Inventory of raw materials. If you less the closing inventory of raw materials, the figure, you push in the last column and you draw a line. Again, the same figure, you drop it here, down, and you will call it now the cost of what? Raw material. Is that clear? This is the direct cost of raw materials. Is that clear?
Yes.
So when you have the cost of raw materials, please, you pick it like that. So I'll erase. I hope you're writing somewhere. You should be
Yeah,
writing.
I'm writing.
Oh, okay. It's very important. You know,
Yeah.
I'm trying by all the means. I'll do all the level best just to make sure that you pass these things very well because you are dedicated. I'm also
Thank
dedicated.
Yeah,
See
you're
how
also
I don't miss
dedicated.
class.
Yeah.
Ah, we need to push these things, as it, my good friend. You know.
I will. I'll try my level best as well.
Yeah. So we have the cost of raw materials, right? Can I erase
Mm.
on top now? Because
Mm.
of my screen. If you're done writing, then, but for you, you don't have to erase, you have to continue. So cost of raw materials, from where we ended, raw materials, you continue. It was in the last column like that. To this, you can add what? Add direct wages or direct labor cost. Direct wages. Is that clear?
Yes.
So the question of the day is, what do you mean, sir, by direct wages?
Yes.
Direct wages, I already explained, is a cost that you incur when you're paying the people who are working directly in the business.
Mm.
And when you have these, you consolidate, you have the prime what? Your prime cost. Okay? And to the prime cost, you're going to add factory overheads or factory indirect costs, right? Okay? Factory indirect costs. When we have factory indirect
Is
costs,
it factory overhead, factory indirect?
I said the word overhead simply means indirect costs.
Okay.
So when I say factory overheads, I mean factory indirect costs.
Okay.
So from here, we can proceed and have the direct, the indirect labor costs. Labor costs, for example, indirect wages. For example, the wages paid to supervisors, those they fall under indirect wages. Right?
Yes.
And from there is also another question. There is another one. The other, what is the other indirect costs? These would include now indirect expenses. For example, a factory electricity, factory electricity is an indirect cost, right?
Okay.
Depreciation of machines. Depreciation of the machines is also an indirect cost. All those expenses actually that you put in the profit and loss account that you saw, As long as it has a factory part, it is involved in the factory or the production process, shall be an overhead cost for you. You shall consolidate these and their total, pushing the last column like that. Draw, add to that so that you can have some total down here. Okay? There will not just be three, as I already said. I said all of them. You could have even general expenses, all those. Put them there. Add these, then their total, push in the last column like that. Add it to prime cost. Yeah, then you have this total here.
Okay.
Now, I'm erasing to this total. I'll repeat it. It's on top here so that you can see properly. The same total down here that we have. From this total or to this total, you have to add opening inventory of work in progress. Okay? You have to add opening inventory of work in progress or work in process. Okay? To this total, you're adding opening work in progress like that. This is what you produce. And from this, you can less what? Closing work in process, right? You're following? From this figure, less the closing work in process. So this is what you have. And what you should have is what you call the costs of what? Production. Kwasila. This is how you establish the cost of production. It is in the last column. Any question? Is there any question?
Tambeka.
Amveka, right?
Mm.
Okay. Let me get a question now for you to practice. Students need to be given a problem for them to practice.
Okay.
Our students. Yeah, we should also start studying, eh? If we are not studying, what is if we are not? If we are already studying, it's fine. We don't need to suffer. You got that one, eh? We have to start studying if we are not studying, eh?
Yeah, I've heard. Is that nkuyamba hapo hapo mpeko tabe.
It's called, eh?
Very, very
Yeah,
good.
Lusaka is called
Mm-hmm.
everywhere.
Yes.
I think it's just called everywhere. It's not just Lusaka. Where is my
Mm-hmm.
question?
Mm-hmm.
So it's very difficult to wake up and start studying, you know? You feel like you're a slave.
There's a, hello?
Hi.
Yes, you're saying something.
I was saying, waking up to study, you feel like you are a slave. No?
Nataka problem nilimobile. So yeah, the challenge party. That one is
What do you mean by mobile?
the challenge like wait,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
no,
That one
it is manageable. You will do it.
I just have
Mm.
to manage.
You just have to manage this one.
Mm,
There's no way how you can't do this one. This can be doable. Okay.
just
I am sending a problem in the group.
you are sending it.
A problem.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sending a problem in the group. Then people can do this one.
Okay.
Let me just see, check the question number. So this one is Cambridge International. Mhm. Question number what now? Where you have to practice that formula, that format I was saying. Practice what I was saying. It's important you practice what teacher saying. Mhm. Yeah, it's question number 2. It's question 2. Do the income, the manufacturing account. Do question 2 manufacturing account. You see here? Seen it?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Just this one. Very easy.
Okay.
Very straightforward. If there are no questions, I do think we can end here, right?
Okay.
Thank you very much for tuning in.